Hi, welcome to episode 95 of Talk About the Passion. I'm your host, Christian Campagna. In any genre of music that has a fan base that pick apart, rate, discuss certain aspects of songs, albums, or the artists themselves, there's always fun in making lists, either for yourself or with friends, people on social media to, generate music discussion. With that said, when I scheduled this conversation with my guest, I realized he was part of a list I kind of keep in the back of my head. And then, I kind of got way more into thinking about it, eventually making a playlist with, like 112 songs I think had it on it. But let's boil it down to 5, at least for me. And the list I'm talking about is great bass intros to hardcore songs. In no particular order, here's 5 of my favorite. Last Warning by Agnostic Front. The Regulator by Bad Brains. No Reason by Minor Threat. Unite or Lose by the FUs. I had to put a Boston one on there. I probably should put Get It Away by SSD, but I guess they're tied, Unite or Lose and Get It Away. And then, of course, Negative Approach, Nothing, which my guest today, Graham McCulloch, plays on. Both versions. Graham plays on both of Negative Approach's records, the self-titled 7-inch as well as the full-length Tied Down. We talk a little bit about those records and his experience in Negative Approach. I feel like Negative Approach's story is, pretty well documented at this point, so I was kind of happy to talk a bit more with Graham's time playing in the Meatmen alongside, Brian Baker and Lyle from Minor Threat, and then through some of the other lineup changes. Graham also worked with Bubba Dupree from Void, which he talks a bit about that band, as well as his time in the rock band Mother May I in the early 90s. He's got a great resume, even an early version of Sam Hain that never... he kind of got together with Brian, Lyle, Glenn Danzig, and I can't remember who else, but he talks about that on here. And none of that was ever recorded or anything. And then he went on to the Meatmen after that, obviously. Graham was a great guest, and I love some of the stories about touring with the Meatmen and just how that band could not really exist today. Graham has a current band he talks about called the Ex-Motorcycle Couriers, who have a record coming out that he told me he would let us know about. And I look forward to checking that out. If you like what you hear here on this podcast, please follow me. Just click subscribe wherever you're listening to this, and you won't miss any new episodes. And if you're on social media, I'm mostly on Instagram at this point as Talk About the Passion Podcast, or my personal Instagram, Caffeine and Cookies, all one word, which I'm a little more active on. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode. I had a great time recording it. Here we go with Graham McCulloch. All right, well, I'm here with Graham McCulloch, and you're in Delaware. I'm in Massachusetts. Where did you grow up, Graham?
I grew up, from I was born until 10. I lived in England,
Mm-hmm.
and then we emigrated to Detroit. My dad was a factory worker, so then I spent from age 10 to 18 in Detroit, and then I moved to DC.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
Yeah.
I was there for a very long time until I moved here.
Nice. And how did music find you in the Detroit area? I mean, it's a great place for music to.
It is.
Anyone,
Well,
obviously.
It's funny how it all pretty much started because of skateboarding.
Yeah.
So we used to hang out with this kid who lived like 2 blocks away, Johnny Artegas,
Mm-hmm.
and he was into skateboarding too. And he used to spend the summers in Rhode Island at his grandmother's, and he'd always come back with like cool surf stuff. And one summer he came back with like a really nice skateboard, and skateboard magazines. And it was like right around the time we all started, skateboarding started exploding, and we all started getting into it.
Yeah.
And I think just, those of us who stuck around skateboarding for, more than just that year. It seemed punk rock kind of grew hand in hand with skateboarding.
Yeah.
Probably for us, we heard of it mostly in the West Coast. I
Yeah.
think everybody saw the decline of Western civilization.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was it. It was like that was like the same summer that we were starting to move around and
Yeah.
form bands and
Right.
listen to records.
Yeah. That seems like a common theme for even like
Yeah.
like younger bands I've talked to here throughout the years. They watched like the skater videos from the 90s
Yeah.
and discovered, bands that, recorded 10 years previous. And
Yeah.
it's definitely a good place to discover punk
Yeah,
music.
no, it was everything happened at the same time because we would also like Rob and I we would go back every year or so to England, visit our old friends, our old neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we went back one time, and gosh, it must have been like '77. I think it was like we were back the summer of the Jubilee.
Oh yeah.
One of our friends gave us a Sex Pistols 45.
Yeah.
So we brought that back with us, and then that was all the same summer. Just like
Yeah,
it's definitely the way to go.
Yeah, yeah. And he's your older brother?
Yeah, he's like 2.5 years older.
Yeah. Okay. And did you guys both start playing music around the same time?
Yeah, we did. Although, like, he had a much cooler path to it. Like, he started out right away. He got to play guitar.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my parents chose the organ for me. So, like, for the first 9 months, I had to play this like 3-keyboard organ thing,
Right.
and I could not learn to read music. My brain just wouldn't do it. So I would do everything just from memory and from ear, and just pretend I was reading just to make it go smoother.
Yeah.
And I must have been a successful whiner because I thought I would be getting a guitar.
Yeah,
they were finally going to trade this thing in.
Yeah.
And I think Rob helped out pick the guitar, and it ended up being a bass.
Right. Nice.
I was like, all right, I see what you did there.
And were you guys already sort of into punk and that kind of stuff at that point, or?
I think we were just like starting to poke around with it, like that skateboard kid we mentioned a while ago, Johnny Artegas. He was a drummer, and he looked like, he looked really like new wave punk, like that part of punk.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So he was a drummer, so we would set up and just like start jamming, and I think we started like messing around and learning a Clash song or something like that. And then there was a moment at the skateboard park where it was the start of summer. Mm-hmm. And I think me and Opie were 15.
Yeah.
And Rob was like 17. But anyway, one of the kids at the skateboard park was going to host a party. So we were going to put together a couple of bands. And so we had like 4 or 5 songs, all like punk rock covers.
Yeah.
Super early stuff. And so Opie was in that band with me and a couple other skate park punk kids.
And that's Chris. That was the ended up being the drummer.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So
so that's and then from there it grew. We grew into Youth Patrol.
Yeah. So what was that like? You guys were.
It was really
young
funny.
Teenagers. Yeah.
We were super young. We were like, I think by the time we got a show, I think I just got my driver's license.
Yeah.
And I think somebody, maybe Spike, who was the singer, he had his driver's license, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, there weren't many of us. So, but either way, we'd have to drive to Mount Clemens to pick up Chris.
Right.
And and then like Negative Approach was happening, and they were playing cool gigs, and they were slightly older, so they were cooler.
Right. Yeah.
You know how that goes.
And you guys recorded for the Process of Elimination.
We did, We went up to I guess where was that? Lansing, I think.
Okay.
Someplace on a campus, and it was a house that had a recording studio in it, one of those deals.
Yeah.
And they were just like, like four or 5 bands. We knew most of them, so we were having a great time hanging out. But there was like a band from New York that came down as well, and but everybody's hanging out in their car for the entire day, waiting for their turn to go in and do something.
Oh, so was that all? Were all those? Was that EP all recorded, sort of in the same?
Yeah,
Like, oh,
I think it was
I
like
never
the.
realized that. Oh,
I
okay.
think it was all
Oh,
like the same weekend. Like it
oh,
was
all
like
right.
we were
That's
like
awesome.
all waiting outside.
That's cool. Negative approach. You guys are next. Come on in.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
This
no, it's
guy.
really what it was like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
And
funny.
so that's Touch and Go Records, and that's sort of your first experience with Tesco V.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, that and like seeing I guess it all happened around this just about the same time. But we'd seen the Meatmen when they would play with Negative Approach.
yeah,
We'd always we'd go to every show.
yeah, yeah. Of
And
course.
oh, hang on, that's my alarm going off. Sorry.
Uh, that's all right. Um, what were they? I mean, they were pretty crude at that, like early
Oh
on,
yeah, like we, of
right
course we
off the
were,
bat.
we're 15, 16-year-old boys, so we couldn't stop laughing. Like
Yeah,
everything, it was all
yeah,
potty humor and dick jokes. So it was
right.
just like, it was just nonstop. We were crying.
Yeah, and he was much older than
Oh yeah,
most people, right?
he
A
was a grade
teacher.
school teacher. Yeah.
I mean, when I first heard that, I was like, the parent, some of the parents of these children discovered
If they only
these
knew like
records.
his giant, like the giant dick cartoons all over the place.
Yeah, I saw him when they had the Satan's Pud toy on
Right.
the stage.
Oh my God, it was so funny. Yeah. No,
Um,
that
and
was just great.
and it's crazy because he had that band, but was also very instrumental in he had the
Oh yeah.
fanzine and the label,
Yeah.
so he was sort of a big part of that scene and that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because he was the adult in the room.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
occasionally it came in handy.
yeah, yeah. Um, and so Youth Patrol, how long did that band last?
Oh gosh, I don't even think it was a year.
Yeah, yeah,
Like we just recorded something. Like we actually recorded a few things. Somebody
yeah,
sent me some a bootleg of something. I don't know what it was, but it was a bunch of songs. I'm like, I don't remember any of these songs, but it was
right,
like, like 5 or 6
yeah,
songs we actually recorded. But yeah, so it wasn't very long. Like basically as soon as we had the opportunity to join Negative Approach,
yeah,
Chris and I jumped.
yeah, yeah. Of course. And your
So
brother he didn't join them yet, had he?
oh no, he was in from day
Oh
one.
yeah, he was already, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
right,
he was a
yeah,
founding member.
right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, how did that happen that you guys got asked to be
I,
in them?
I don't really remember other than I remember Rob came home from practice and asked me if I want to join, and I think he said we're going to ask Chris too, and I'm like, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm totally into it.
yeah,
But I wanted to be in a bigger, more serious band.
yeah. And they were already kind of getting
Yeah, it was starting
word
to
of
get
mouth.
buzz, and they were getting good gigs.
Yeah. And what was John like back then?
It was just he was fun. Like we didn't really know him that well from the skate park. Like I met him through Negative Approach.
Yeah,
So he was just never a skate kid. He was just from a different part of the Detroit area.
yeah,
But he was all those guys. Like we had a great time back then because we
yeah,
were, all of us were. We didn't. I guess we didn't really choose to be straight edge. You just were
yeah,
because it was cheaper. I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
right,
exactly.
easier. Like just
Yeah,
just
yeah,
buying
of
just
course.
buying cokes and eating shitty food. So
Yeah,
yeah. So it was just I don't know. We were just like adrenaline fueled teenagers, like just trying to cause trouble and ride skateboards around at night and
yeah,
laugh. Like
yeah,
we
yeah,
laughed constantly. So it was super fun. Like everybody was super light and it was great.
yeah. A good time and
Yeah,
place
yeah,
to grow
yeah.
up.
A
Yeah,
blast. It was a
yeah.
blast.
And
Yeah.
now, when you joined, were a lot of those songs that ended up being on the first EP there already written before you got there?
Yeah, pretty much they were. It was just mostly just Chris and I learned the 7-inch, and then we as we started playing more and the songs developed more because a lot of those songs are on the Tied Down large EP anyway. They're just like I guess Chris and I just sound a little more mature in playing to a degree. I mean, it's still punk rock, but you know, if there was any subtlety to it,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
it,
And
it's it's
and
there.
nice. And did you guys play much outside of the area to touring with them early
Um,
on?
we did a little bit of touring. Like we never did a ton of touring. Like we would do the East Coast.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, Negative Approach. We never. Well, at least when Rob and I were in them, um, we never went to the West Coast
yeah,
or way down south or anything like that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was Meatmen. I did that with their bands I was in after that.
Right.
But yeah, it was really such a short period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, because I left at, the end of 83 when I moved to DC.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it
geez,
was a pretty 2 years
yeah,
almost.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, barely
Yeah,
two
not
years.
even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and you guys recorded with Corey Rusk on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
EP? Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah. And he was the other part of Touch and Go.
Yeah. Yeah. He was
Yeah.
like the more quiet guy, but not really quiet because he was also in a great band.
Yeah. Yeah. And was he a good person to record? Like, was he a
Oh
technical
yeah.
guy
Yeah.
or more of a,
He was really, really cool. Like he was just all business.
yeah.
Like you could tell like he was going to be running something. He wasn't just going to be like a bass player.
Right.
Like he was just always organizing something, always doing something. Like it's funny. You don't even think about it back then. Like none of us ever had to think about, geez, have we booked recording time? Do we know
Right.
what studio we're going to? It's just like
Yeah.
all of that stuff was done
Was
and
dealt with.
Corey did it all.
Oh, wow.
Between Corey and John or
Yeah.
with Tesco, they would set it all up and you just like show up.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So yeah, all those guys like took care of us anyway.
Yeah. Do you have any memories of recording that first EP?
I really don't. Like
Yeah.
I remember recording Tied Down
Yeah.
because it was a more serious, real recording studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that because I think I had a sinus infection, and I was so out of it because I'd taken all this uh antibiotics, so I was like super groggy and drowsy.
Yeah.
So I was just like every time they were like, let's do another take, I was just like dying.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
think when we were done, it was like, okay, takes are done. It was good. I think I passed out on the couch there for like a couple hours in the little teeny room where I was.
Yeah.
But everybody was like really, really seemed to be driven on that recording session.
Yeah.
Like there was no time wasted.
Yeah. Oh, you can hear it in the,
It
the record is like very urgent sounding, and it's just like a amped up version of the stuff that was on the single.
Yeah, and a wash and reverb.
Yeah. 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 When you were playing those songs live, a lot of those songs were kind of anthems. Did you kind of foresee like this is going to be some sort of
I mean, you could kind of tell with how quickly the band was growing in popularity.
Yeah.
And a lot of the kid, everybody would. John barely had to sing; he could just hold the mic in the audience, and everybody knew it. So you knew it, and some of them just like you could even hear the audience like yelling the lyrics louder than John was through the PA.
Yeah.
And not that we didn't have great PAs, but
right.
Still,
yeah,
it was impressive.
The crappy PV.
Yeah, right. Yeah, whoever, can we borrow something?
Yeah.
What do we use tonight?
Yeah. And you, I was talking to my friend today that I was doing this, and I said, I'm going to talk to the guy that, plays the intro to Nothing by Negative Approach. I was like, oh, cool. I was in a band that covered that song for a while.
Oh, cool.
In the late 80s.
Nice.
Al Quint from
yes.
Suburban. Yeah. I was in a band with him, and we used to cover that. But yeah, an iconic record and song that's
yeah.
It
is.
And after you left, nothing has ever been written. I don't think they really wrote any more songs.
Anything else? Yeah.
And I don't think they've really had to. It's sort of one of those bands where we have these songs.
Right. It comes with a built-in set list, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw them right at You Must Have Left at that because it was 84. And there was a couple songs that they played that ended up on a compilation.
Yeah.
Some live, like really not very good quality recordings of some live from that show at the Paradise in Boston.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The hardcore metal years.
Yeah. So I was looking on your Instagram and I saw you had posted a picture a while back that said this was the first time you had played with Tesco, which was at the Wilson Center in 1983.
Yeah.
So what? How did you make your way out to DC?
So I got a call. It was like right after I graduated high school. So it was like I was 17 at the time.
Yeah.
and then Brian Baker and I became really, really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So we would always, like, whenever Minor Threat would play Detroit, he'd stay with me. If whatever I was in would play DC,
yeah,
I'd stay with Brian,
yeah.
and Bob would come stay with Brian too.
Yeah.
So we just became really, really good friends.
Yeah.
And he called me one day and said, "Hey, do you want to start a band? It's going to be Glenn Danzig singing, me and Lyle from Minor Threat, and we're trying to find a drummer."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to." So I had to drive out there actually and try out.
Yeah.
And so I did that and came back, and they were like, yeah, let's do this. So that was it. I decided to move to DC and start this band that was going to be called Sam Hain or Samhain.
Right.
And it just we had a few practices with Glenn, and actually Brian and I went up and we stayed at Glenn's house a couple times.
Yeah.
So we hung out a few times, and it was great. We got along. It just you could tell like we were totally going in different directions musically.
Not what he was looking for.
Yeah. Not what he was looking. I mean, he was just kind of looking more for some more of the same, but with just slightly better musicians.
Right.
And we were looking to do something different.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't working out.
Yeah. Did any of that stuff ever get recorded? You guys rehearsing or anything?
No, I don't think it ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we were doing other things too. I mean, that's how the Tesco thing, I was just there, we were hanging out waiting for, I don't even know if we had figured out it wasn't working out with Glenn at that point, but I was just going out, I was staying with Brian. So, Brian was doing the Dutch Hercules stuff. They were going to do a show at Wilson Center.
Yeah.
And so I would go with him to practice and hang out and see everybody, because we were practicing at Scream House.
Yeah.
So I knew all those guys because same thing. A lot of them would stay with me when they'd play Detroit.
Yeah.
Scream stayed with me one time or two times.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I knew those guys, so we'd hang out. And I went there one day, and Bert Quiroz from Double O, and a couple of the bands in DC. He was playing bass at the time. Yeah. And he just came up and said, I don't want to do this. Do you want to? Here, you play bass. And he just handed me his bass. So that's how I joined the Meatmen.
Oh, really?
But it wasn't even the Meatmen then. It was just to do the show.
Yeah.
And the show went so well, Tesco decided to call it the Meatmen and keep going.
Right. Yeah, because that record he did, the Tesco v. Dutch Hercules.
Yeah. Crazy.
I always think that's got to be one of these, because Ian's on there and Lyle.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, like, does he want his name on the, it's cool. He says, I mean, they got their faces covered, but on the inside it says, produced by Ian MacKay, and then there's,
it does make you wonder, because like some of the lyrics.
Yeah, Lesbian Death Dirge and Crapper's Delight has some, fake,
crippled children suck.
Yeah. It's like, so he decides then he wants to now kind of rechristen the Meatmen.
Yeah, since he was living in DC, he was gonna do it, and he actually moved to DC during the Process of Elimination tour.
Oh wow!
So when we came through and played DC the second time, he stayed, and then the rest of us kept on driving back to Detroit.
Oh, all right, wow.
Yeah. So he restarted the Meatmen, and I really wasn't doing much at the time. We were in another band called the 400 with Lyle, Brian, me. We had a drummer from Bethesda somewhere, and Ray. I can't remember Ray's last name. Oh my gosh, I feel terrible. It was another DC scene kid. He was the singer, and that was more. So we were doing that at the same time. So I was like, yeah, I'll do the Meatmen too. That's funny. Yeah, I just want to stay busy.
Right.
Any excuse to be too busy to work would be great.
Yeah, I know, right? What kind of stuff was the 400?
It was like a little more like post-punky. Gosh, I'm trying to think of who, like, any kind of comparable. God, I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's just like it was after hardcore, so it was just that people wanted to be a little more musical. Yeah. So it was a little slower.
Yeah. DC had a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just like
maybe
progressing.
Yeah. Towards the emo thing, not quite there.
Right. Yeah. So the complete opposite of the Meatmen.
Yeah. totally complete opposite.
And the music the Meatmen were doing at that point was clearly different than what he had done with the original band. You guys were almost more of
Yeah.
a like a cock rock type
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was
thing.
the whole focus afterwards.
Yeah,
Was to be more cock rock because it was at the time is um oh my god, all the like the British metal bands were happening
yeah,
in the late 80s. So it was like that was definitely like that was the template.
yeah,
Like we got to go after this. This would be funny.
yeah,
And it was like, yeah, we can do it really big. This would be great.
yeah.
So that was, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was total cock rock.
And I always thought it was almost more. It was almost more like Spinal Tap. It was
Yeah,
more
yeah.
just comedy than just like shocking stuff like the Punkorama song. I always thought was hilarious, and then the was the Elvis "Kisses in the Sunset."
Oh, yeah.
um, but yeah,
Uh,
and so that band was you, Lyle Pressler,
yep.
Brian.
Brian Baker. And there was this drummer we had from we used him in what else did we use him in? Brian and I play with him in something else too. I can't remember what else we used him. It's Eric Zelsdorf,
Yeah, yeah.
or he liked to call himself Von Zelsdorf because it sounded cooler.
Yeah, I think I looked him up at one point and I couldn't really find much
Yeah, yeah.
info
Well,
if he did stuff.
he's on Instagram. He found me like a
Oh, he
couple
did.
months ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Interesting.
He's not chatty, so it
No.
was cool.
Yeah. um and that record that you guys do is end up doing is War of the Superbikes. What was writing all
Yeah.
that stuff like? Is that stuff like what?
It was hilarious. We would just go to practice and like, hey, anybody have anything? And I come up with I show them a riff, and then we would just all like work on it. And
Yeah.
you'd see Tesco with a notepad in the corner, cackling,
Yeah.
just like cackling. And
Laughing
you'd
to
be like,
himself.
you'd stop. You're like, what? He's like, listen to this. Oh my God, listen to this. And he's like, read something. He's just like writing it as he goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really, really fun.
And Margaret's winking pink.
Right. Wink and Pink Brownie Cave. I still laugh at that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that record is held up well, I think.
Yeah.
I found a copy a while back. And then you guys record that with someone named Jim Krenka. Is that Jim
Yeah.
Krenka or something?
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
I barely remember that recording that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. Is at the time like Lyle was really managing things like very,
yeah,
very hands-on.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
He
like
seemed,
it was that part annoyed me. So I just like would go do my part and then try to be away.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. When I was like, yeah, I guess I was 15 at 85. I remember writing to the Meatmen to do it. I had a fanzine, and I wrote to the Meatmen and did an interview through the mail, and it was with Lyle. And I remember just thinking that was cool, getting a letter from a guy from Minor Threat. It's this record, and then when I saw you guys, I'm actually meant to send you this picture. There's a fanzine, Triple X fanzine, out of Boston, and he put out a book a few years ago with all just sort of like a anthology of old issues and stuff. But there's a picture from when you guys played at TT the Bears in Cambridge.
Wow.
But I'm on the side of the stage with my camera, but I have a bunch of pictures. But there's a picture with Tesco, and you can see part of you, and then up in the corner you can see the woman, JJ, who took the picture. So her taking the picture and me taking the picture. I'll have to send both of them to you. But I
That's
got
awesome.
a bunch of. I sent him to Tesco at one point. He got a kick out of him because I got a good one of him with the Satan's pod, and then he had the fur pants with some hoses coming out of his
and the ears and the horns.
Yeah, it was all sorts of and you guys were all wearing sort of costumes.
Total costumes. He would. I think I was the first time. Maybe it was on rock and roll. No, on War of the Superbikes. I think I was the rock and roll nurse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was like a nurse's outfit and a silver glitter wig and like the whole thing, like tights.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I think Lyle had a wig on at the show,
Yeah.
and someone was wearing like a Jimi Hendrix looking jacket or
Oh yeah,
something.
yeah. I think that was the guitar player at the time. This guy Jamie.
Oh yeah, is that the Battalion of Saints guy,
Yeah,
Jamie
yeah, yeah,
Jamie
yeah,
Cooper. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So he joined when you guys toured. He's not on that War of the
No,
Superbikes record though.
he joined. No, he didn't join till Rock and Roll Juggernaut.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah,
That's yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
and
He's on that one.
and you guys did a big tour for the Superbikes, or
We did a pretty good size tour. Yeah, we got as far as like we played Texas. Like we
Mhm.
did this big sort of southern swing,
Yeah,
and then kind of came back up.
yeah,
So that was a crazy tour. That was super fun, but it was
yeah,
like we were just like so crazy, so
yeah,
reckless.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
they sent out all these things. We were just like, we thought it'd be really funny. So we had this, again, it was this thing like, doing the whole cockschlock
yeah,
thing. So we sent out this like rider of if people wanted to promote us, we'd
yeah,
send them our rider. And it
yeah,
had things like, you know, a warm towel, a warm brand new towel for each band member. Had to
yeah,
be warm food backstage. Couldn't be fast food.
yeah,
Had to be like a case of Heineken, a bottle of Jack Daniels, a bottle of Absolute. We had all these stupid things on there, and then
yeah,
we'd make and here's our guarantee. And
yeah,
we'd make these guys sign this contract for paying us whatever it was, like $2,000 or something crazy
yeah,
back then,
yeah,
and they had to sign this so we went there and like we were getting this money hand over fist. We
yeah,
were just so we brought a couple of guys. We just thought they're hilarious. We should bring them on the road because
yeah.
they're funny.
Just
And
friends.
yeah, and we
Yeah,
would spend money. Like we went out one time and we bought like $500 worth of electric water guns,
yeah,
and then we bought $500 worth of fireworks, and
yeah,
then we would strap the rocket launchers to the ends of the water guns,
yeah.
and we'd have these like epic battles at the hotels, or if whoever would put us up for the night, if we stayed at
Right.
their place,
Yeah,
it was like a war zone.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and that happened we played Atlanta, Georgia. I
Yeah,
remember Tesco came to the front of the show at the microphone towards the end. It's like, if anybody can put up 10 guys, 10 smelly guys for the night, come to the front of the stage after the show. We'll give you a T-shirt or something like that.
yeah,
So this one girl came and said, my parents are in Europe for 2 weeks. You guys can stay at my place. We're like, great. So we get the address, and it's like this fucking mansion.
yeah,
It's like, half a mile down from the governor's mansion.
yeah.
And it has tennis courts, got a swimming pool, it's got
Right.
all stuff. So we're just like having a great time. And I think we had like a show got canceled. So we had a couple extra days, and she said
Yeah.
we could stay there. So we said, let's throw a huge party. We have all this booze building up in the van because we couldn't drink it fast
Right.
enough. So we just like started shoving it underneath the chairs. Yeah.
That's
So we had
awesome.
this crazy party at her house where we're just
Yeah.
like throwing M80s in the pool. And
So
it
you guys
was
are kind of
nuts.
living like Motley Crue and the Who on a
Yeah,
smaller
yeah,
level.
like the low budget hardcore
Yeah.
version. Yeah, absolutely.
Um, did
The non-hard drug version.
yeah, I know. Um, yeah, was it at that point people weren't doing drugs and drink like wasn't a thing still?
No, like there was a little bit of weed smoking. That was it.
Yeah, yeah,
It was just mostly beer, and then you drink some alcohol and
right,
act like
yeah,
an idiot.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
and
was it.
yeah. Any bad things ever happen at shows where people got offended or just didn't really know what they were getting into?
Surprisingly, no. Like there were a couple shows we did where they were looking like a riot was going to happen, and then things calmed down, and it
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah,
So I remember we played like an outdoor band shell place in Florida,
yeah.
and all these like skinheads came, but not like the cool skinheads.
Right.
They
The
came, they
Florida
were like,
ones always
yeah,
they
like
always seem to hear about those.
yeah, like you guys, like into our message, like it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like we don't really think, one
French
down,
people
three to
suck.
go,
Right.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
little children suck. Like
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
dressed like a nurse.
Right.
I
I
showed up to
know.
the gig like
Right.
pretending I'm in Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Like it's a joke. And
Right.
they were totally serious.
Oh,
And then
jeez.
there was some other time, I think in Houston, there was almost a riot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, things calmed down.
And then you do Rock and Roll Juggernaut after that.
Yep. Yeah.
And,
Then and it kind of started falling apart after that. It's
yeah,
because like I don't know, some people wanted to take it way too serious,
yeah,
and I just I was just really I was only in it at that point because I was probably too chicken to leave it and didn't want to
right.
not be in a band.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I didn't want to grow up.
right.
So yeah, I just stuck around as long as I could.
Yeah. And you guys tore that one too?
Not really. Like we did
Yeah,
a couple of shows here or there, but we didn't do any big tours.
yeah. And that was a,
We did fly out to LA and film a video.
yeah. For what song was that for? I feel
Um,
like I've probably seen it and I've just forgot.
Centurions of Rome.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. Yeah.
So
I like
ridiculous.
I love True Grit on that record. That seems like a song that, yeah, one of those Florida skinheads would hear that and
Yeah,
think
they'd be
it's
inspired.
not, yeah, it's Tesco speaking. He's not taking on a character. He's actually
Yeah,
very
no, we did
inspired.
yes, Centurions of Rome when we were traipsing around um some very hilly area in California without a permit,
Yeah.
filming a video, pretending to be centurions, going up, climbing up the
Yeah.
in our full outfits, spying on a damsel in distress.
There must be some live footage from some of those Meatmen tours.
It's got to
I'm
be. That's why
wondering.
I can't
Yeah.
believe there hasn't been any at least any photos that have surfaced.
Yeah. 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 I'll send you some of these the pics I have from the show I had.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that'd be
took.
cool. Yeah, I've never
Um,
seen anything else.
yeah.
I've only ever
Um,
seen negative approach photos from back then.
yeah. And Negative Approach was on. There's that famous like on a cable access
Yeah.
TV
Yeah.
show or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
You
Why
guys
be
were.
something that you're not?
Yeah, yeah. You guys were
Yeah.
like extremely young on that. I love watching that. Some good stuff.
So dorky.
Yeah. I know it's when you look back on that stuff now, do you have like friends that aren't in the music scene that, find out that you were in a band that was, pretty influential, uh,
Yeah.
and they see videos like that, do they give you shit or anything? Like,
It's funny. They don't really like mostly like I still know guys from uh, back in the DC times.
yeah,
Like I know like Mark Lambiot
yeah,
and Alex DeCiabra are probably two of my best friends.
yeah,
I've been in my current band with them, but I've known them for freaking ever.
yeah,
And they're all band people, most of
right,
my closest
yeah,
friends, so they all
yeah,
know what I've been in, but
right,
it's only a couple of them that like gave a shit about hardcore, so it matters anything to them.
right, yeah,
They just know it was like, oh, you were in a big hardcore band, but
yeah,
that's all
yeah,
they know, and they
right,
don't care.
yeah, 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 exactly.
It is
Uh,
funny though, like when you see like when I meet somebody who I don't know,
yeah,
because I work in the natural food industry, and
okay,
sometimes I go to these like natural food industry showcases and
hmm,
distributor shows, and
yeah,
I stand in a booth and I exhibit my products too. So I was sitting there ready to talk to somebody about lentils and rice, and this guy comes up and he's like, Graham McCulloch, I know that name, and he's like, you're a Negative Approach with Robert McCulloch. I was like, whoa, whoa.
yeah.
So yeah, every now and then you get caught off guard
Someone will
by it.
show up. Yeah.
Yeah, keeps you honest.
Yeah. So after the Meatmen, did you take a little break from music after that?
I did took a little bit of a break. I think at the time I was breaking up with my longtime girlfriend and
Yeah.
moving back to DC
Yeah.
or just outside of DC, and
Right.
yeah, just kind of I started getting back into it a little bit, and then I started this like a total, for lack of a better term, glam rock, like gutter glam rock band
Yeah.
called Feast of Angels,
Okay.
and I started that with uh, Tim, who was the singer of Malefice.
Yeah.
He played drums.
Okay.
Pete Murray, um, he played guitar,
Hmm.
and we didn't really have a singer. And then as we started playing more, we got a singer. This guy, Danny Biondo,
Okay.
who was a great acting frontman, looking
Yeah.
frontman.
It's
He
a
just
great
couldn't
first name.
sing.
A great name too. Danny Biondo. Sounds like
Yeah, Yeah,
sci-fi
he
guy.
couldn't sing. He was a hairstylist.
Yeah.
So he had like this cool look, and he was,
Right.
like the whole thing, leather pants. So we're like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but he really he wasn't a great singer.
Yeah.
And then Pete left the band, and we ended up, getting somebody else, a couple other guys. But I started playing somehow. Bubba Dupree found me.
Yeah.
And he played in that band briefly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then before we kind of imploded.
Yeah.
And then it was a few more months. I think I was getting into a serious relationship. So, took a few more months off.
Yeah.
And then Bubba reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to join, to start playing with him.
Yeah.
And, he's been writing a bunch of music at his, by himself, and he's built a home studio.
Right.
So I just started going over to his condo and started playing, and that became Earth 18.
Right. I saw maybe a video, and it was
that finally
like
surfaced on YouTube.
Good. It's like a T-Rex type rock thing. It was good. It was cool.
Yeah, no, Bubba is he's so crazy talented, and especially at the time, I was just like, kind of I was blown away because he was doing stuff he was playing, like the stuff he was writing sounded very like T-Rexy, and little Nine Inch Nails ish,
right,
and that was just, I was like so into it because it was so different,
and
I really wanted to learn other things, and then I joined another band at the same time, more traditional, power pop, band, called Mother May I in the DC area.
Yeah, I remember them.
And and they were getting great gigs. We used to play old 930 Club a lot, and play 15 minutes, and we'd have they were really great gigs because you'd have great attendance. And they were really fun guys to play with. I had a great time playing with them. It's just one of those situations, when you're playing with two other guys, and you just naturally play really well together. Yeah, so it just really vibed really well. It just wasn't anything new to me.
Right. How long did you do that for?
Super fun. Probably 2 years.
Yeah.
I think maybe 2.5 years.
Yeah.
That seems to be my limit. So I did that for a while. And then we started playing the new music seminar in New York City, I think they used to call them. In the summer,
like the
they would
CMJ.
Have those things, right? Yeah. So we'd start playing those and try to get label interest, and then the same thing I was doing with Bubba, we ended up looking for a manager to shop around the music we were doing, and we were told we need to put a band together so we could play this live on these same kind of shows. So I was doing two bands at the same time playing these shows. I figured, to me, I was like, well, whichever one gets label interest, I'll go with that one. Like a total dick, right? Just like such a dick. What a dick move. But they were both getting interest. So really it just came back to down to which one do I feel like, I want to learn more or play the same thing. Well, this one was like the greatest time when we go out on the road, had a great time, love playing with these guys. I really wanted to play something different. So so I split Mother May I and went with Earth 18.
Nice. And you guys put a band together for that?
Yeah, we put a band together, and we used one of the drummers that we had used in the Meatmen, Mark Kamaj, aka Ghoulie.
Okay, yeah.
He was such a good drummer. He was great. He was nuts.
I think he's on that live record. Is he on that live record maybe, or?
Yeah, he's on that live record. Yeah. He was in what's that band he was in? Oh my gosh, with Jared in DC. I can't remember the name of them. It was like more like underground house music.
Oh, okay.
Like industrial kind of house.
Yeah.
So he came from that. So he had a very, very like real simple but super hard rock thing. So it worked really, really well. So yeah, he was our drummer, and then we would do everything. All the keyboardy stuff we would record. So when we played live, it was really, really hard. We had a rack, and we used those old DAT tapes, and we would have to preset all of the keyboard sounds and background strange noises. And then Mark would have to play with a click track in his ear. So he would start a song and then play a click track, and then we would just go off of Mark. So that's how we would pull off live.
Oh, wow. Nice. Did you guys do a lot of live stuff, or?
Yeah, we ended up doing we did a tour. We opened for Nights of Reb.
Oh
So
wow.
we did the whole U.S. and Canada opening for Nights of Reb.
How was that?
That was actually really cool. It was hard because they were in a a big tour bus,
Yeah.
and we were driving the five of us
In a van.
in a panel van.
Yeah.
We had a road manager and a sound guy,
Yeah.
and otherwise it was three of us taking
Three of you.
turns driving, except for Bubba. We wouldn't let him drive.
No? Why not?
He
Is it
didn't
bad
want to
driver?
drive. He's too nervous.
Yeah.
He's not a driver.
No. And did you guys recorded some stuff
Yeah.
with 18? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a record, a stillborn record that we put out on Giant Records.
Yeah.
And the album's called Butterfly. It's
Yeah.
on you can watch it on YouTube as
Oh,
all the
nice.
songs are on there. But
Oh,
yeah,
really?
no, it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The song
I still like
that
it.
was cool. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mother May I, you just left that. You were
Well, I left it, and then yeah, they kept on going. They put out a record on Columbia. They kind of broke up at the same time Earth 18 did.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we kind of drifted apart. And then Mother May I got back together in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And we started playing gigs again. And we wrote and recorded actually a really great record called 33 and a Third.
Yeah.
And I'm still really proud of that record. It sounds really good.
Nice. Where'd you record
that? What's that?
Where'd you record that one?
We recorded that one at one of the guys in the second guitar player in the band at the time, Mike Harvey, had his own studio.
Oh, nice.
So we recorded it in his basement, and then we would do overdubs in Damon's basement, who was the singer, guitar player, songwriter.
Yeah.
And he mixed it. It sounds great. He and Angie and actually the drummer Rob, he's really, really talented engineer as well as being a great drummer. So yeah, they finished the record, and it just sounds terrific.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think that. So, yeah, so we started doing that, and then the singer guitar player Damon, his girlfriend, I think they were engaged at the time. Maybe they were married by then. Anyway, she got her dream job offer in Chicago, so he moved to Chicago.
Okay.
So that ended that band.
Yeah. And did you find it easier to record? The reason it probably sounded really great is because those guys are involved in it, and you don't have the pressure of like outside people. It's just like sort of you guys.
Recording's funny. It's like one of those things where I think the first couple times I did it, I was so nervous.
Yeah, same here.
It's just terrifying. Like you put the cans on, and you're like, everyone's like,
sounds
okay,
weird.
Right. And this is costing how much money per hour?
Yeah.
Right. It's like super intimidating. I just think the more and more you do it, and especially if it's a home studio, you just get kind of comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't really bother you. So like I think I've been in so many, you're on so many records, but when you think about it, how many recording sessions you've done. Yeah. And it's like now like I take great pride in like trying to get it done in as few takes as humanly possible.
Yeah, of course.
Like it's like that's the badge of courage or of honor. I mean, right? It's one take. That's what I'm going for. So yeah, I think I don't get like the same feelings. I just get bummed if I don't get it in like the first couple of takes. Yeah. Then I start getting into my head.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then it's like the worst day ever.
Yeah. Yeah, once you start getting into your head and thinking too much, you won't get it.
Right, always screws it up.
Circle back the next day or whatever.
Right. You sweat too much in your strings. You're like, I gotta work on my strings.
Yeah. And so now, currently, you were saying you have a new band.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
We've been playing together for probably 14 years.
Oh, wow.
And we've been getting together like once a week. Alex, he and his wife, they have a single family home on 14th Street in DC. Okay. So we can play in the basement there. We've been playing there forever. Yeah. So we just go over there like once a week, twice a month now that I live in Delaware. But we just still play, full volume. I have an SVT. Yeah. Oh, nice. Mark's got his Marshall half stack. We crank super loud, and we just we all come in, like Mark and I will come in with an idea or a riff or something, and we just like, our thing is don't tell the other person what to do. Let them come up with something organically, so it can always be collaborative. Yeah. So it's always been like a really, really great nurturing environment for being creative. So I actually have a great time playing with these guys.
Yeah. 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 I think when you have that, like you were saying earlier, that comfort with musicians, and you can just, I had a band for a long time called Presley, and we were a quartet originally, and when we became a trio, it got to that point where you didn't have to look at each other on stage to kind of get cues or anything. You just kind of, and we did the same kind of thing where we just sort of improvised and would come up with stuff and, see what you come up with. And
I love it, man.
And what,
let your free flag fly.
Yeah. What's the name of this band?
Is X Motorcycle Couriers.
Okay. And you guys do live shows?
Yeah. Actually, we just recorded a record.
Oh, nice.
We're going to put out vinyl, our first, probably only vinyl.
Yeah. And what kind of stuff is this?
To me, it sounds a little like Gang of Four and Jesus Lizard.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
So it's kind of like
driven. That.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of bass driven stuff.
Yeah. Nice. And do you sing?
God, no. I don't think it's one of those things. I just
Have you
don't
ever
know.
sang at anything?
Not really.
No.
I've had them I had a mic a couple of times that was just mostly to tell jokes between songs, but or I'd pretend. I'm just
right. Yeah.
I don't know how people do it, sing and play at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just maybe it's just like the same block I have to be able to read music or being able to speak a second language.
Yeah.
Just can't do it.
But that's great though. So you still have that itch to
yeah, I still do.
Music.
And
yeah, it's great.
And it's funny, like when I don't do it, and I feel like it really builds up, and it's just like a great stress relief to go there and just play whatever you want, super loud and distorted and whatever.
Yeah. I think it's important to have some sort of creative outlet,
as
we get older, and and if it's playing music or doing this podcast or writing or whatever.
Well, and it makes me wonder too, like because I'm still good friends with Brian. We don't talk as much as we used to, but like, man, he's been doing it for so long professionally.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like he's so good. It's crazy, but I just can't imagine doing it professionally at that level.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's got to be the craziest life.
Yeah. Because he did. He's been in Bad Religion now for 20. I don't even know.
20 years, right? 25 years, 30 years.
I know, it's great. I know when you think of the amount of time some of these, it's
nuts.
It's
and I can't imagine playing those. Is it a chore for him? It's got to be a chore to a certain degree to play those same songs.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
But I guess that's why it's a job.
Yeah. Exactly.
That makes him professional.
Yeah. Do you still go out and see live shows?
I do occasionally.
Yeah.
I don't get many around here. In Delaware. But I do occasionally. Like if I'm on the road, if I'm in a city, like last time I was in Chicago, I went out to a blues club and saw a bunch of blues. Oh, nice. That was really cool at Kingston Mines. Yeah, that was super cool. I love that. Yeah. So I try to see music when I can, but
same here. I'm close to Providence now, so I go. I'm from Boston, cool. Like north of Boston, but I'll go see shows in Providence now if I can. But I'm seeing Scream this weekend up in
cool,
upstate New York. So
very nice. Give Skeeter my love.
I will. Definitely.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, and well, I appreciate you doing this, man.
It was great talking.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks for all the great music through the years.
Well, thanks, Christian.
Yeah, this has been cool.
Hey, and if you want, when we actually get the vinyl out, I'll send you one.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, just shoot me your address and I'll send you one. It's probably going to be a few more months.
Awesome.
But we just approved the test pressing, so we're going forward.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I look forward to it.
Cool. Right. Thanks, man.
Hey, have a good night.
Thanks. You as well.
All right.
Cheers.